it is a very revealing practice to just say, I'm going to log my time during the week.
We don't start out with this business knowledge about, organizational flow charts and roles, and somebody out there may be watching going, I didn't even know an office manager was a thing.
Yeah.
Like, how would I know that? Who would teach me that? I was taught to, learn how to use this design program, or that, just be this think in this way in terms of helping someone come up with their brand or their story, et cetera. So, but what do you recommend? Just side note, as like some great Kickstarter resources or educational, avenues for someone who can quickly gain some of that knowledge about best business practices, because the business side of art isn't taught, the business of art, which is what we're sitting here, it's why Creative Table exists, to kind of help fill in some of those gaps.
I think what's one practice that one can begin, and most creatives hate this. I don't love doing it, but it is a very revealing practice to just say, I'm going to log my time during the week, even if you work for yourself, right? Which there's a certain accountability it brings, and then go back through.
Today's show is brought to you by Toggle. Toggle.com will help you log your hours.
Right. I read a business book early on. It's like, if you don't know where your time goes, then you don't know what you're doing, right? Because so even though I
kind of like a budget
bill, right? If I don't bill barely any time to projects, but I log all of my time, because I want to look back and say, okay, what of my time is travel versus email versus, phone calls versus, proposals versus pitches or things like that. So, and I think as a creative, you're in an ideal world, you're going to spend, we'll just say 40 hours a week working in your craft, right? Yeah. So if you are a business owner and the best value that you bring to the business is doing the creative work, then you want to log your time and say, gosh, I'm spending 16 hours a week doing things that are not what I love and not where I bring the most value. So how can I figure out a way to offload that to somebody else? And some of that may be an assistant. Some of that may be hiring a sales rep. I don't know what that is. Or just
stopping doing the things maybe that are just waste of time.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But I think it's a very revealing thing. The budget is a perfect example. If we all just said, I have no idea where in the world I spend my money, then that's tough. There's a reason that companies have profit and loss statements, and they have categories of where the money goes. So they can go back and audit, right? Look at how are we spending our money? We got to be able to go back and say, how am I spending my time? And I've done that in times when, for myself and for folks that work with me, and they have come to me and said, I'm just overworked. I'm working 65 hours a week, and I feel like I'm never getting ahead. And one of the first things I do is I sit down. Let's analyze your timesheet. Let's see, where is your time going? And we can usually pretty quickly say, all right, well, you're spending about 10 hours a week doing this thing. And sometimes it's just something like, you don't have to be in those meetings. Other people in those meetings, and they're getting everything done that we need to get done. Just don't go to those meetings anymore. We just saved yourself 10 hours. Or we say, I also wonder, is this just a busy time? Is this a trend? Or is this just like, a blip, something that just is happening? And so sometimes we can say, if this one scenario, we said, all right, the last 2 weeks we're seeing in your time is, X happened, and all of a sudden that brought an extra 20 hours a week in. So when that happens, you can know that these other things you're doing, you can bail out of on those certain weeks. Maybe you and I are going into those meetings together, but I can do it without you. So we can problem solve that.
Do you meet with your team to review time in this way, like on a regular basis, or only when those sort of blips or emergencies
for different
pop
people?
Up? Is it self-regulated?
I think time management is just one of the most important things as in one's career that they can figure out. Time management and prioritization, and maybe they're the same thing.
But there's a philosophy out there amongst certain business owners that are like, you're a professional, be professional, right? Like, how to, time management is just expected, as in this example, is to be part of what you do, or is it like, hey, we're going to figure this out together as we go. We're all going to have, key performance indicators, and we're going to get together and review and constantly kind of as a team go through these things. So what's your thought about that?
I do think that I agree, yes, be a professional, but did all of us just wake up one day as professionals? Mm-hmm. No, like there was a process to get there, and time management and prioritization. Some people come into a career being better at that than others, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's something that I have teenage sons. They're starting to have to, learn that as with homework and mm-hmm. managing extracurricular activities and all that stuff. Because my wife and I are trying to help them with that, and they're going to have to figure it out. So I can't be completely hands off,
yep.
but I can't micromanage either, right? Yeah. And I think that that's a trick too. I think to expect that people are not going to need any help in their career is. Or any coaching is just not the case. Like everybody's going to need it. Everybody has a place where they get to go. And I think part of taking a job is going somewhere where you say, I want to learn. I want to be more like those people. And so I want to work with them. And hopefully, by osmosis, by some coaching and rubbing off, I can, continue to learn those things and hone those skills. So I think that it is a person's job to be professional. And I think it is a company's job to help people be more professional and figuring out where everybody is and what they need. I don't know a creative that naturally hasn't had to put a lot of work into learning how to prioritize. And I think for creatives especially, it's about how to make decisions.
Yeah.
I'm going to be working on something. How do I not get 3 days down the wrong path? The really talented ones, the real pros, they get an hour down the wrong path and they course correct, right? And it's a process to learn how to do that. And but time, I think, is always a struggle, especially when you love what you do. There's almost
it's easy to just kind of wake up and go, look up and go, I didn't eat lunch today,
right? And there's in a way there can be a sadness when the project ends. Right? Whereas on the business side, you want it to end as quickly as possible because that helps you protect your margin and make money. But for the person working in it, they're going to work as long as possible. Now, I think that's actually a great tension, right? I think that you need the person who's trying to get done faster, and you need the person that wants to work longer to make it better. Right. If it's completely one or the other, then there's going to be some consequences on both sides of that. And so I think that there are a lot of natural tensions. I love the framework of somebody said, there are problems to solve and tensions to manage. And I think the issue of time is and time management and creativity and how much time do I have, I don't think that's a problem that's ever solved. I think it's a tension that we constantly have to learn to manage, and we have to be comfortable. We have to embrace the tension and know this is my role, that's your role. I love you, you love me. We're going to have that tension, but we're for each other, and we want the same thing in the end. And it's actually, we have to embrace that tension is actually even good.
Okay, so as creatives, we're often in this paradigm of either serving or selling.
Yeah.
And on the selling side, I'm growing. I want to make my first hire. Obviously, I could hire another creative, but I need to start building out my sort of the business. People that know the business side of things that I don't understand. Who is that person for you? I mean, in a general sense, at least, because I've heard it's the business development person. They're expensive, but they're worth the investment because of the value and the connections and the all the services they bring on the sales or business side of art. What are your thoughts on that? I mean,
I think there's 3 key roles, and there's a lot of books and things about this, but that use different terms. But I think let's say for this, but you have the creative person, right? They're the expert, they're the technician, like they are the thing, right? They're the talent. And then you have the operational person, the logistics person. They are in the weeds, seeing all the minute details, making sure the train runs on the tracks. And then you have
the manager, basically.
The manager, or like the sales guy, the entrepreneur, the forward thinker, the visionary. Like, I think those are the 3 roles. And
it sounds very like E-Myth almost.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Your technician, manager, entrepreneur.
Yeah, I knew a guy. There's a tech guy in Atlanta that says you need the hacker, the hustler, and the hipster or something. So I think that there's there's different versions of what they're called, but basically somebody driving things forward,
Right.
somebody in the weeds, somebody in the clouds, somebody in the weeds, and then somebody doing the thing, right? And so I think
It's basically present, past, and future, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. And so I think that, you know, for Blake and I, you know, for a while I was kind of the sales guy. He's the creative, and then we both probably handled the operation side together, right? Like we both kind of had a second hat. And I think a lot of times as you grow, I think about my role as, okay, we're getting to a certain point, I can take off another hat. So if I have, you know, I used to be the office manager. I would run, and I was the office intern, basically getting coffee for people. I took out the trash. I was the project manager. I was the sales guy. Well, now, you know, you break out, we have like 7 different people that handle all of those roles. So I've been able to take off certain hats and give them to other people over time. And that's where even tracking time helps me to look at, okay, I'm feeling like I need to take off a hat, you know, and I feel like there's an opportunity to take off a hat. Which one am I going to take off, and who do I give it to, and how do I think about that through the lens of where I can add the most value, where and what I'm passionate about, and what the business needs.
That's good. That's really good.